Times change. The marketing landscape changes. One thing that's been solid as a rock for decades is email. For scaling brands, we find that 65% of revenue in Klaviyo comes from buyers. And on a 7-day last click, we find that customer retention is 10 times more cost-effective than ads. Conversion rate optimization is even more cost-effective. Translation: if you aren't doing email, SMS, and CRO, you're spinning your wheels on new customers and spending way too much to drive revenue. Unfortunately, with the growth of e-commerce and the onslaught of email, Gmail and Yahoo are making it harder than ever to reach the inbox. The cheapest customer is the customer you already have, so if you need help with this mess, come to pallethouse.co, fill out the lead form, and ask to speak to me directly.
In the inbox late night, glowing screen, see the light. Email, everything feels alright.
Top 10 checklist for Black Friday. Go into your segmentation and remove anybody who's ever made a spam complaint. Double tap. You can triple tap. We're not against that at all. When you triple tap, do not send to... Don't get cute. If you've got a good solid segment that you're sending to, send to that good solid segment again, removing people who... If you have a coupon code, go in there and remove any weird, nasty restrictions. People try to make sure that, we got to make sure that they can't do this and can't do this, and there's all these rules and the terms and conditions. It's only up to on this or above this or whatever. It can cause people's shopping cart to throw an error. You don't want that. It's the world's best email and retention podcast, and I'm your host, Jordan Gordon. We are a member of the DTC network of podcasts and the philosophical home of the Pilot House email and customer retention team. If you want to make the sweet nectar of low-cost revenue a large part of your digital ecosystem, then follow us on your favorite podcast app today. This time we're going to do a quick top 10 checklist for Black Friday. You're just getting ready to send your emails, and let's just go through and make sure you've got kind of everything set up, snug as a rug, just before the big day. So yeah, a bit of a top 10 list. 1, go into your segmentation and remove anybody who's ever made a spam complaint, ever bounced, and optionally ever clicked to unsubscribe to list. Look, people are going to be like doom clicking on spam, right? So if you have someone who's unsubscribed and somehow they got back in, if you've clicked, whatever, you want to just not send to bad addresses. So just go through there and clean that stuff out. Look, obviously you've told your whole list. I'm sure everybody knows. So why not just have it really clean to maximize your chances of inboxing? Next, this is kind of interesting. Go into your sending segments, clone them, and add something to each. So you add on one, properties created in the last 365 days, and the other one, not created in the last 365 days. What's that going to do? It's going to split your lists up by business you did this year versus business you did last year. So when you look at your reporting, you can see, hey, how good did we do at bringing in old business versus, how good did we do converting the business we brought in this year. So certainly recommend you double tap. You can triple tap. I get triple tapped on Black Friday for sure, and we're not against that at all. When you triple tap, do not send to only non-openers. I've said this before in the pod, so I'm sorry if you've heard this before, but I can't stress this enough. So when you double tap or triple tap, remove only buyers from that email. You can also triple tap, like sometimes we will triple tap based only on clickers and send only to clickers because they're such high engaging addresses that it's not going to cause any trouble with your overall sending reputation. And it's in the same day. So, most volume counts for Gmail are within 24 hours. So you can also try to squeak out only to clickers. And this seems counterintuitive. It's like, hey, wait a second. They clicked. Why am I sending to them again? Well, if they clicked and didn't buy, that is absolutely the most important person for you to send to. So when you do your double taps, remove buyers from that email only. Don't remove last 7-day buyers. People buy again. Someone buys, they go, hey, I was thinking about that other thing. Then they get the email. I'm going to buy that other thing. So remove the buyers, and you can option remove, send it only to clickers if, inboxing is a problem for you because they're really highly engaged addresses. But if you don't try anything new, don't try anything you haven't tried before. So if you've got segments that are working, obviously keep using those segments that are working. Don't get cute. So basically, if you've got a good solid segment that you're sending to, send to that good solid segment again, removing people who purchased, excluding people who purchased from that email earlier that day. Those are your only additional exclusions when you triple tap. Go into your abandoned emails and set the first abandoned email to go after 20 minutes, the second abandoned email to go after 8 hours, and the third abandoned email to go a day later. If you do not have a third abandoned email in a flow, clone the second one and send it a day later with a new subject line. If you do not have a second abandoned email in a flow, please come to pilothouse.co, fill out the lead form. I'll speak to you directly. Your program needs some love. Having it go at 20 minutes and 8 hours means that they're going to get a reminder in their same shopping session and then later that day or first thing in the morning if they sleep over that 8 hours. Make sure that all those abandoned emails have a banner at the top with your Black Friday offer leading to a category page with that banner on the site. And the category page, obviously, category because it's super shoppable. Send them somewhere shoppable. Go into your Black Friday. If you have a coupon code, go in there and remove any weird, nasty restrictions. I've seen this. People try to make sure that it's like there's, exact rules. Oh, we got to make sure that they can't do this and can't do this. And there's all these rules in the terms and conditions. It's only up to on this or above this or whatever. Yeah. So you know what? If you have restrictions like that, it can cause people's shopping cart to throw an error. You don't want that. I mean, look, if you've done all this work and you've got them on the site and in the cart, don't have your coupon code throw an error. Just if they make a cart that doesn't follow your rules exactly, who cares? Right? They're there. They're shopping, So just go into your coupon code and just make sure it's really, really, really easy for that code to work. Definitely send to the last 12 months of buyers and feel free to send to the last 3 years of buyers. Look, I don't know what your inboxing is like, so this is not just necessarily a recommendation. This is, for educational value. If you're already in a bit of an inboxing mess, adding new stuff is maybe not a great idea. But certainly, 12 months of buyers it's part of our normal thing, right? And then going back 3 years worth of buyers is great too. If you watch on the recent talk that we had with Benny and Omer, they did talk about increasing your send size only 10% a day, right? So like if you do this thing on Tuesday and you want it to go on Friday, you can incrementally add list. So don't just on the day add 3 years of buyers. If it's like, if it's going to increase your list by like 30, 40%, that's a bad idea. But you can, as of seeing this podcast, you can incrementally add some addresses and just get a little more juice out of the squeeze by adding some more long-term buyers if you haven't already. Also, I see this all the time. People don't have visitors in their segmentation. What if someone's been active on site, viewed a product, started a checkout, right? Add visitors in your segmentation. Same rules apply. You have to incrementally increase your list size for the big day. Subject lines. So the biggest effect a subject line has is on placed order rate. It's just the way it works, right? So the subject line actually affects people's behavior on site. So driving home the offer in the subject line makes a difference, right? Be super obvious with your subject lines. Run a test. You can run a test like this: 20% subject line A, 20% subject line B. The winner gets 60%. That way, the winning subject line goes to 80% of the list. You got your business 80-20 rule, which is nice. And, leave 2 or 4 hours in between, depending on how big the smaller your list is, the more time you need to leave to optimize to make sure you don't get a false positive on your test. And on one of them, be just so blunt. Like I like this: BLKFRI, which is like a very small way to say Black Friday. BLKFRI space up to 50% off or whatever it is, space. And then if you have more, say pipe, new to sale, kind of, in normal caps, or full launch, or blank, right? Just BLKFRI up to 50% off is a fine subject line, right? And then if you've got more, if you are adding more to the sale, you can say space pipe. A pipe is the line up and down, space new to sale or full launch or whatever else it is. And you can run that against maybe if you've been sending other kinds of subject lines like don't miss Black Friday or whatever, kind of normal subject lines. Yeah, run one of your normal subject lines against this and see if the really blatantly obvious subject line wins or not. Look, if it doesn't, what did you lose? 80% got your winner. If it does, you've got more people. You've got an optimization, and bottom line, you started learning. Like if you're not subject line testing, every single send should be a subject line test, and you want to be learning at all times. But definitely, if you run 2 different subject lines, you have a chance to, you're going to get an optimized result. If you run 2 subject lines, a bunch of people are going to get the winner. If you run one subject line, there's no chance at beating that subject line you've run, right? So every single send should be subject line test, and really basic, blatant subject lines outperform. Final one on the site, universal site banner. Of course, your whole site should, this is no longer email, this is site, but it's for destination. Your whole site should have a banner that says Black Friday, and you click on it, and it leads to your Black Friday category page, with the code on it and all that kind of stuff. And it should just be as obvious as possible, no matter where on someone's site is. They're a click away from getting to the Black Friday offer and with the coupon code right there. So even if they weren't on a Black Friday email, they hit the site or they come from anywhere else, they just see it and they can do it. There's a little top 10 list. Nice, tight episode. Good luck on the big day.
In the inbox late night, glowing screen, see the light. Email, everything feels alright.
Hey entrepreneurs and spammers, remember, you can't scale without email, and the cheapest customer to acquire is the customer you already have. So please subscribe to the world's best email and retention podcast and learn how to make low-cost revenue a big part of your digital ecosystem.